It's 4:30 on WKYT this morning. A Laurel County couple was among the last of those who rode on that Smoky Mountain tourist helicopter that crashed Monday. But more about their story coming up this morning.
3 people who were reported missing were found dead after a Lee County fire.
And a man charged with driving off after causing a collision that badly injured a child made some unusual threats after being arrested. More details on that story ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and it's nice to have you with us here on this Wednesday in the middle of the week now. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and it looks like there's still cold weather out there.
It is. It's once again cold, and looks to be that way for the next few days with those up and down readings. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we start off very chilly this morning, back in the 30s and 40s for virtually everybody, and then we slide off into your afternoon. We'll actually be in the 60s. I mean, here comes big gusty winds, and we will see a wind advisory at some point today for at least some part of the region. It's not there yet, but just wait for that as we travel off into the afternoon. We're looking at temperatures. You're 38 in Lexington, upper 30s, lower 40s there in east and southeastern Kentucky. But, you know, for the most part, we're going to stay above freezing. And then the gusty rain comes in later on. When is later on? Well, I'll have that in your forecast hour by hour coming up.
Okay, we'll see in a bit. And in the news, investigators released the names of the 5 people who died when a tourist helicopter crashed in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee.
Police say the pilot was 38-year-old Jason Dahl of Tennessee. The passengers were 49-year-old John Morvin of Tennessee and her 18 and 22-year-old children who lived in North Carolina but were Nebraska natives. A 21-year-old Texas man was also on board. The helicopter crashed Monday afternoon and burst into flames near Sevierville and Pigeon Forge. Federal investigators say they still don't know why the helicopter crashed, and a final report could take a year.
And what we'll do is we'll take the factual information from these areas and others and put it into a comprehensive factual report, which will be sent to the NTSB board in Washington, D.C., and they'll ultimately determine a probable cause.
The company that owned the helicopter was Smoky Mountain Helicopters. A Laurel County couple says they were among the last people to ride on that helicopter before it crashed. They've talked to us about that close call. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has more.
For Shannon and Riona Collins, it was a beautiful day in the Smoky Mountains.
I said, you want to take a helicopter ride? And she said, yeah, I'd love to.
The scenery, the sights, the smiles. It was a picture-perfect getaway. Then they heard.
Started getting phone call after phone call. You guys okay and everything? I said, yeah, we're fine. Why?
News of the crash shocked them. Their same pilot, their same helicopter. Less than an hour and a half after the camera time-stamped their smiles at 2:10 p.m.
You know, what if everything? What if it would have been us? What if, you know, we'd been the next one in, you know, that day, and you just, everything goes through your mind and stuff. You say, you know, let's just be thankful and just pray for the family and just go home.
They say their flight was fine and the pilot handled the windy weather well.
The pilot said, you know, it's going to be a little windy. I'll adjust for the wind. I'll increase the power.
It was a nice ride. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. It was just scary.
Shaken up, Shannon and Riona cut their trip short to get back home to their 5 girls.
We was blessed that we'd be able to come home and see our kids and stuff, and at the same time you feel overwhelmed emotion that, you know, that pilot and those passengers not going to get to do what like we just done.
Looking back at those pictures, they say they have a whole new perspective, knowing now what they didn't know then. In Laurel County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Shannon Collins says federal investigators called them yesterday asking about the flight and the pilot's behavior. He says he told them nothing happened out of the ordinary and the pilot was completely professional.
Investigators say 3 people have been found dead after an apartment building fire in Lee County. The Lee County Fire Chief says crews found the bodies last night in the burned apartment building on Golf Course Road in Beattyville. The 3 people who had been reported as missing have not been identified, but friends say they were a couple who lived in one apartment and a woman who lived upstairs. Friends say the couple had been expecting a baby. 10 other people in the building got out safely. Neighbors say the fire nearly spread to a nearby home.
If the wind had been blowing like it normally does out of the southwest, the other house here would have definitely been on fire. It was a huge fire, big fire.
At last check, investigators did not know what had caused the fire. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has started an investigation after finding a man dead inside a home there. Deputies say the people who live at a home on Robinson Creek Road found 30-year-old Anthony Johnson dead in a bedroom yesterday afternoon. Investigators say Johnson had head trauma. His body has been taken to Frankfort for an autopsy.
Investigators claim 2 men were part of a fraud scheme to get more than $600 million in federal disability payments. A Kentucky attorney and a psychologist appeared in court yesterday in Lexington. Police arrested attorney Eric C. Kahn and Alfred Atkins Monday night. Investigators say the 2 worked with Social Security Judge David Daughtry to get the money from the Social Security Administration for Kahn's clients. This all happened over a 9-year period. Kahn faces 18 charges, including fraud and money laundering. Atkins faces 4 charges. An attorney for 2 women who reported Kahn to authorities years ago says they've been waiting a long time for this day.
I mean, they reported this to the Office of Inspector General, Social Security Administration, and begged them to do something with it when they first started seeing the conduct taking place. And so I think last night was a sense of relief for them.
The judge released Atkins on bond, but Kahn is still in custody pending a detention hearing tomorrow. Kahn is being held in the Grayson County Detention Center. Prosecutors say they feared he would be a flight risk. There's a warrant out for Daughtry's arrest.
The road to the White House may have gotten a little tougher for Republican frontrunner Donald Trump as well as for Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders have been projected as the winners of the Wisconsin primary. Weijia Jiang now with the latest from the campaign trail.
CBS News projects Ted Cruz pulled off a win in the Wisconsin primary.
Let me just say, Hillary, get ready. Here we come.
Cruz's victory makes it more difficult for Donald Trump to clinch the Republican nomination without a fight at the convention. Exit polls show Republican voters are most concerned with the economy and government spending, and many want change. In exit polls, more than half of Republican voters in Wisconsin said they were either concerned or scared of a Trump presidency. CBS News projects Bernie Sanders won the Democratic primary. Honesty was the top candidate quality for Wisconsin Democrats.
With our victory tonight in Wisconsin, we have now won 7 out of 8 of the last caucuses and primaries.
Hillary Clinton is looking ahead to New York and focusing on women's issues.
I'm particularly concerned about girls and women, being one myself, but more than that, because we still have a long way to go.
New Yorkers vote in 2 weeks. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, the White House.
Now, 86 delegates were up for grabs for the Democrats in Wisconsin. There were 42 for Republicans.
He's accused of causing a crash that badly injured a child, then driving off. Now we've learned more details about the case against a man now facing multiple charges in Frankfort. Police say 23-year-old Arnulfo Vargas was driving drunk Monday night when his car hit another vehicle. As Monique Blair tells us, police also say he made an unusual threat after being arrested.
Around 10:30 Monday night, Frankfort police say 23-year-old Arnulfo Vargas ran a red light at the intersection of US 127 and King Daughters Drive and crashed into a vehicle carrying 2 adults and 4 children.
A lady was screaming, asking for assistance. Small child was not responsive, had a lot of blood on her face.
Police say all 4 children were hurt, but a 5-year-old girl suffered life-threatening injuries. Chief Jeff Abrams says with so many people involved and many people hurt, the scene was a bit chaotic.
Trying to sort out who's who struck who's injured, and who isn't. In the meantime, this individual decides that he's no longer going to participate and thinks he's going to flee the scene.
Chief Abrams says as police were tending to the children who were hurt in that car, Vargas then got back into his own car and started driving in the wrong direction on US 127. It wasn't long before police say Vargas crashed into a road sign, and that's when a citizen restrained Vargas until police arrested him. Police say Vargas admitted to drinking a couple of beers and ingesting a white powdery substance prior to the accident. Vargas now faces several serious charges, among them terroristic threatening.
I believe the quote was something to the effect of that he was the devil and that the officers would be killed by 10 a.m. the next morning.
Chief Abrams said as of Tuesday afternoon, the 5-year-old girl was stable at UK Hospital.
The officers were pretty upset, and you can imagine anytime you have a child that's injured, it's a difficult scene.
In Frankfort, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Frankfort police want to thank that bystander who helped with the arrest, but they don't know who he is.
State police say they need your help in finding an inmate who escaped from the Estill County Jail. Police say Francis Stamper walked away from the jail yesterday afternoon. They're not sure exactly how he managed to get away. They say Stamper was in jail on a failure to appear warrant. She was last seen wearing a green shirt and black leggings. Our time this morning is 4:40, 20 before 5, and WKYT this morning is just getting started. We have a lot more to tell you about on your Wednesday.
It's becoming common these days for moms to unwind with a glass of wine. Coming up, we'll look at the signs for when casual drinking can become a problem.
Nothing going on right now, but give it about 12 hours and here comes some gusty rain into the forecast, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. I'll have that coming up next.
Could this now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Live sky camera shot is a good shot. Now, we're not really seeing anything overhead as of right now, but clouds are starting to filter in. Don't expect rain this morning. Expect it later on this afternoon and off into the evening. So a nice start to the day in terms of the way it looks outside, but it's still very chilly. We're there at 38 degrees in Lexington. Good news here is most of us, virtually all of us, stay above that 32-degree reading, even over in east and southeastern Kentucky, where you do have a freeze warning in effect. For the most part, you're going to stay above freezing, except for some of those valley regions. We're at 35 now in Middlesboro, and the cold spot, Somerset, coming in at 32 degrees. Then we hit the afternoon. Watch this. We go from the 30s this morning to the 60s later on this afternoon. A big swing of temperatures, and the one way you can do that, going about a 30-degree swing, big-time gusty winds coming in from the south, either the southeast or southwest. This time it's from the southwest, and it'll pump into milder air. Now, it'll feel pretty nice later on today, but then here comes some showers and even a few rumbles of thunder as we head off toward the evening and night. I do expect the thunderstorm activity actually to come during the evening and night, not so much during the afternoon. Afternoon is more of just your showers, but no severe weather expected. So if you get a rumble of thunder, just know most of that's just going to be your garden variety thunderstorms going to be rolling on through. Could be a loud night for some of us, especially in eastern Kentucky. Watch what happens. Here's 5 to 6 p.m. That's when we expect anywhere from 4 to 6 p.m. I would say is a good window to expect some of these showers to move on in. Maybe a rumble of thunder, but the actual line of thunderstorms come a little bit later on. Here's 10 p.m. So I'd say around Lexington and the Bluegrass region, I-75, anywhere from 8 to about 10 p.m. And then it rolls off toward the eastern zones. You won't even get into the activity until about 10 to midnight as it rolls on through. And then once we get past midnight, it's long gone, so then you can sleep soundly, and a few showers filter on in. Not only showers, but some cooler air. So it's going to be pretty chilly there for your Thursday with some spotty showers here and there. None of that's very heavy rain, but it's more of a nuisance than anything else. It's just not going to look good, not going to feel good. And that's going to be on Thursday. Let's go to Friday, because Friday is where it gets a little bit interesting. We've been talking about this the past few days. Friday, look at this. The system slows down a little bit more. And what that means is it allows that warmer air to stay intact just for a little bit longer. So what does that do to the moisture that's falling out of the sky? Well, it changes it into rain. Then we head off into the night and into the morning hours there on Saturday. That's when you could see a few flakes. I still am leaning to most of us not picking up anything, but still some isolated spots we cannot rule out as we head off into overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. And then once that tracks on out of there, we actually have a pretty decent Sunday. So Sunday will be a good day to knock out any outdoor plans that you wanted to do. But starting today all the way through Saturday, guys, it doesn't look good, and temperatures really tank as we head off towards your Friday and Saturday. Saturday will be gusty winds, upper 30s, lower 40s for highs. Okay?
Oh, good night.
So that's the way it's going to be.
I was hoping you were going to say, surprise, it's going to be 70 degrees on Friday. Everything's changed.
And with wind, right, as well.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
okay, that's tough for April. Thank you very much, Micah. 4:47 now. Is it okay to have a glass of wine during a play date?
Before you take a sip, take a look at today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
A glass of wine at the end of the day or even during a play date is common among moms. Drinking has become a common punchline among mommy bloggers, too. But when does it cross the line? We sat down with Karen Marker, counselor for Project Mother Child.
Sometimes moms like to have a glass of wine during a play date or something like that, or at the end of a busy day. And I would say inherently it's not wrong to have a glass of wine now and again, spending time with your friends. But some things to keep in mind are that drinking alcohol is going to lower your inhibitions, and it's also going to slow down your reaction time. So if you're planning to drive after that play date, it's probably not such a great idea to be drinking. Also, you know, if something came up, an emergency with your kid, you want to be able to react to that pretty quickly. So those are some things to keep in mind.
If you need help, Karen suggests finding a private counselor or attending an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Unsure if your drinking is out of control? Go to momseveryday.com for a free self-test from the National Council on Alcoholism.
For these tips and more, just go to WKYT.com and click on Moms Every Day.
Time this morning is 4:48 on WKYT this morning, and we have a lot more news coming right up.
The governor of Mississippi has signed a law permitting businesses to refuse service to gay couples based on religious beliefs. Details on that law coming up.
Hey, good morning to you. Welcome back in. WKYT this morning, here with you on a Wednesday. It's hump day. A judge has ruled that Porsche cannot be held liable for the crash that killed actor Paul Walker.
Walker and the driver of a Porsche Carrera GT died when the car crashed and burst into flames in California in 2013. The widow of the driver sued the automaker, claiming the car lacked several key safety features. But a federal judge says there's not enough evidence to prove that. The widow's attorney says the judge's ruling will be appealed. Mississippi's governor has signed a law allowing businesses to refuse service to gay couples based on religious beliefs. The law includes churches, religious charities, and privately held businesses. Individual government employees may also refuse service, but the law says governments must still provide services. Gay rights groups and some businesses spoke out against that law. The governors of Vermont and New York have already banned official state-funded travel to Mississippi because of the new law.
Lexington Mayor Jim Gray has unveiled his proposed city budget for the upcoming fiscal year. It's based on revenue projections of $345 million, which is up from last year. The mayor also says the city will have a $6 million surplus to work with. The mayor wants to increase funding for public safety, and that includes hiring 20 new police officers and implementing the use of body cameras. Police Chief Mark Barnard says the cameras will be a big help.
I think the community expects it. I think people that's sitting on juries with the CSI effect now, they want to see the crime scene. They want to see what happened. They want to see the interaction with the police. So for me, it's a level of trust with the community, saying we're very open and transparent about what we're doing.
The mayor also included money for workforce development, paving roads, new sidewalks, and improvements to some parks.
Lexington's Hancock Fabric stores will close soon. The stores are on Southland Drive and Richmond Road. Hancock Fabrics is closing all of its stores nationwide. The company filed for bankruptcy 2 months ago. The company plans to begin liquidating merchandise soon.
All right, maybe some folks can get some bargains there before they do close their doors eventually. The time is coming up at 4:54, and coming next, a look at some of the stories we're working on this morning.
And we'll have another look at your morning forecast coming up.
4:57, welcome back to WKYT this morning. Mike is going to have to be watching the wind pick up and cold weather for the weekend that Keeneland kicks off.
And a wintry mix. I can't believe it on Friday, right, Micah?
Yeah, and then maybe even a few flakes on Saturday morning. I mean, I'm just not the most popular person out there right now. I can promise you that. 39 degrees there in Lexington, 43 in Richmond. It kind of depends on where you are. 32 there in Somerset. So once I show you this long forecast, the extended day forecast, yeah, you're going to hate me even more. But you know what? Today, 64. We'll take that. Rain chances in the forecast, but very breezy conditions as well. So we go through your day, and you can see gusty winds really kicking up about 25 to 50 miles per hour. We'll talk about this forecast coming up. Another 2 hours of WKYT News.